I'm trying to convince myself that this summer is not going to be like last summer. I think it is a pretty typical spring this year. We are getting into the 80s. Katniss is getting a little hot though, so I decided to go ahead and cheer her. Even though the next night I think the low was 47, she was fine though. Both of my blades went dull, so I couldn't finish her, so she had a stupid haircut for a day. Oh my gosh, look at that goat. Elise, you're a turd. Anyway, I had to go buy another blade, and then I've learned I need to sharpen them after every year. I will shear her again in the summertime when it gets hotter. It's just for her comfort. Here she is, all finished. Looking for her babies, of course. This was filmed probably a week shy of them being 2 months old. Look how big they are. She makes good babies. We noticed Peppa wasn't coming up to eat. She was laying down a lot and just not feeling good. She didn't have a temperature, she didn't have any cuts or inflamed areas, so we were confused. The only thing I can really do is give her antibiotics and see what happens. Now Peppa does have an appointment with the butcher coming up. She's still over a month off. This is a different drug, I'm just using it as an example, but if you notice it says do not vaccinate within 21 days before slaughter. And actually the terramycin I tried to give her that she didn't eat was actually a 7-day withdrawal. This is the time period between when you administer the drug, the animal metabolizes it, and then it leaves the tissues in order for you not to absorb them yourself through eating the meat. So the meat's clean in that time. This has taken me several takes to say what I'm trying to say, but just in the way you would give your kids antibiotics or cough medicine or whatever when they're not feeling good, we are going to do that for our animals. They're giving their lives for our freezer. If you're raising animals for any kind of profit, there's no profit in sick animals. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox there. She didn't want to eat it in the marshmallow, so we tried to come up with this combination of fruit and peanut butter and everything, and she didn't eat that either. Then I had to call in the big guns and actually get the syringe out. She let me stick her a couple times, but not the third time, so she didn't get the full amount. But luckily, the next day, she was fine. Call what we did an unnecessary overreaction, but we've also been raising this pig for over a year, and we didn't want to lose her before slaughter. One thing we give our baby goats is cord. It's for coccidiosis. This is something that they pick up from the ground and they will be exposed to it. Coccidiosis attacks the GI system and gives them diarrhea, and it can kill them in the end. It's something very preventable. That way too, when the new owners of the baby goats get them, they're not sick and have diarrhea everywhere. The babies are also old enough now to be weaned, and we've been keeping our eye on especially Mary, the brown one, because she's been getting real skinny. So we need to lift these babies off the mamas and start drying off the mamas. It's gonna be a loud few days. The goats also get to take turns, boys and girls, getting out to graze for the day. This is me putting the boys up. Something the quail love to do to keep clean is dusting. We built this dusting area into the grow out cage, and I put a little bit of diatomaceous earth and some fine flake shavings in there, and they had it all kicked out within the day. I'll fill it again later, but they make a mess of it. I know they love it though. We finally processed the Cornish cross chickens that were giving me so much trouble, and I moved Mavis back outside. She did not appreciate that. She loved staying in the barn in her little hospital pen, and she tried to go back that day in there, and she was like, "What'd you do to my house?" Here's an update on her wound. She's actually growing new feathers. All that granulated stuff is scabbing, so it's pulling the skin inwards and growing new skin. It looks good. These freaking mealworms are finally to the beetle stage, but they are taking so long. If the egg stage take this long to make more worms, I'm just gonna buy the dried ones. I don't care. The cows have been swimming a lot lately, and they know it's not even hot yet. Frida, oh my goodness, she better have this baby. She's getting loose back there, and she's bagging up a little bit more. Hopefully it's soon. This is my 4th or 5th time to harvest this spinach. I started it in the fall. That's spinach, and then lettuce that I started from seed indoors. I've had way better luck starting it indoors than just seeding it outdoors. I transplanted it late winter. I will add here that we did have a chicken die of a worm, so we've wormed the chickens with Corid as well. Here's a tour through my garden. These are supposed to be climbing roses. They're supposed to be Joseph's coat. I don't even think they're gonna climb. They're doing great though. Here's the lettuce that I harvested from earlier. These are all onions, probably Texas super sweet and red. That's the spinach we harvested from earlier. This first row of onions is from my neighbor's garden when he was tilling in the fall. He found them and asked if I wanted them, so I planted them then. The other onions were planted in the winter, I think mid or late winter. Here, you can do that. This is all Texas rose garlic. I'm excited to see those. If I say a specific variety, it means it's probably best for my area. These are all extra onions or shallots that I had when I was planting. This is another row of onions, and then the back row is shallots again. Back to the beds. This is my butternut squash line. I seeded that whole thing, but I think my seeds are old, and also it's not warm enough, so I transplanted when I started inside, and then I bought more seeds later. I'm just showing you the water washes the no float mulch away, so I'm gonna have to replace that after the rains kind of stop. This is a bush variety of cucumber. We liked that last year because it stayed in a bush form. These are cow peas. My neighbor gave us a seed packet of that. I've also decided to put some flowers out here in pots. These are all beefsteak tomatoes that I started inside. These are extra garlics. I will most likely use those for seed for next year. Not seed, but starts. These are probably San Marzano, and then I bought an Amish paste tomato. This is a little blueberry. These are either French stringless green beans or blue lake. This is cilantro. It will die when the heat increases. This is zinnias, giant asparagus right here. When you buy them bare root, they're supposed to be 2 years old already because it does take quite some time to grow out asparagus from seed. But I've been told that it takes an additional year to kind of settle into its new spot to give you some good sized asparagus. I think I put chamomile in that pot, but I'm not sure. This is Sun King broccoli. Last year it was so hot, but this variety is supposed to be withstanding the heat. We'll try it again this year. I think this is all volunteer sunflowers, which I probably shouldn't let grow here. This is nasturtium. They're part shade, so we'll see how it does under this tree in the heat. These are my tulips that are fizzling out. This is a mini rose I had at the house and brought out here. These I started in my arrow garden. They're 2 types of tomatoes. I'll show you that. It's an amazing, I think the light system really makes it, but it's a hydroponic system. There is a small little cherry tomato in between those. This is my strawberry patch, and it has some shallots in it. I've kind of been harvesting those. Everything's so wet right now because we've been getting so much rain. Something's coming after my strawberries if I don't see them fast enough. The next bed has a little bit of celery from the fall that made it through. This is a garlic, just an extra garlic. And then I put extra lettuce in here and tried the green beans. Again, I don't remember if they're French stringless or if they're blue lake. I had an extra tomato, so I put it in these barrels. And over here, I put a bush variety, I think it's bush variety, of watermelon icebox melon. They're sugar babies, so they're supposed to have a high sugar content. If we don't like them, the pigs will like them. And here I have black-eyed Susan and some chamomile. They still haven't come up. This is a bed I planted for my friend Courtney. She does floral preservation. That's hard to say for me. These are blue bonnets, but they haven't done very well in this bed. I think the soil's too rich for them. Onto a pepper bed. This is a red bell pepper and a poblano next to it, and then 2 habaneros for Derek's pickle salsa. More tomatoes. I think these are San Marzano, but we'll see. Another bell pepper, one that didn't make it, and then 2 mammoth jalapenos, a Trinidad scorpion pepper, and a Carolina Reaper. These are both for Derek's pickle salsa again. And this maple tree is doing amazing. Better than any of the other trees. This one has buds on it, but isn't doing anything. I've meant to fertilize it for about a week now. Here are some garlic and shallots that I've harvested because the tops have started to die off and flop over. Really, they're supposed to have air circulating all throughout them, so I need to get something else going here. These are a little squishy because the soil is so saturated. I'm hoping it hardens them up, but we'll see.